Hi, my name is Sarah Sypniewski, and I'm the owner of NinjaDog Concepts, where we work 24/7 to find your missing pet, even when you can't. And today's tip is all about microchips. The first portion of this tip is going to be the basics, which I know a lot of you know about, but you'd be surprised at how many people don't, so I'm just going to go over it really fast. And then after that, I'll give you a quick little tip that's super powerful, and you probably haven't thought of. So, also, Delilah, my rescue pit bull, is roaming around here, so you may see her tail or head bob up from time to time. Hope you don't mind the cameo. Okay, anyway, so microchips. So they're basically little tiny microscopic devices that are implanted in your pet's usually neck area or between the shoulder blades by a vet. And what happens is when scanned with a scanner, it displays information, usually the chip number. And that chip number is tied back to the company that owns it, and it also is connected to your information. So basically what happens is if your pet were to get out and animal control were to get him, or somebody who knows about microchips were to take him into a vet or a groomer or someplace that has a scanner, they would scan him, and then they would get the microchip number off of him, and then they would take that microchip number and enter it into a database, and then hopefully find your information. But sometimes people do not find information when they enter chips into the system, and you know why? It's because people forget, or maybe they run out of time, or maybe they don't even know that they have to manually register their pet's microchip. So let's say that you adopt a pet from a shelter. Well, that pet most likely has a microchip implanted that you'll get that information when you adopt them, but you have to physically go onto the company's website or call them to give them your information. Otherwise, it will not be connected and the chip is essentially rendered useless. So definitely make sure that you do that. A lot of people, for whatever reason, even rescues, they miss that step. I've been on more than one case where that's happened. So why don't you take the time right now to figure out if all of your pets are microchipped, A, and then B, make sure that your information is registered to it. Okay, so the other thing to notice about microchips is they do not work like GPS systems. They do not give you real-time information about your pet's location. No. Although there are GPS collars out there, and if you're interested in that, you should buy one. I highly recommend them, as a side note. The only way microchips work is if somebody scans your pet. So your pet does have to get caught before that microchip will work. Okay? So that's kind of the rundown about how microchips work. You should definitely make sure every single one of your pets is microchipped. Usually your vet will do it when you spay or neuter your pet, but they can also do it like as an independent procedure. Okay, so that's the basics. Now for the major tip, which is in order to check that your pet does have a chip, and in order to check that the chip continues to work, you should have your vet scan your pet every time you bring him in, whether it's for an exam or a procedure or whatever. Just ask your pet to do a quick scan. Did I say ask your pet to do a quick scan? I mean ask your vet to do a quick scan of your pet. And so that's a great way to make sure that A, the chip has not migrated, because sometimes they do move. They move down their legs, down to their elbow area a lot of times. It also makes sure that it's still working to begin with. You know, it's a device. It can fail. I've been on more than one case where the chips have not come up on any reader. And so this is a great way to make sure that your chip is always working. Every time you bring your pet in, just make it part of your routine to ask your vet. Okay, they check the temp, they check the weight. Okay, will you scan them to make sure that their chip is still there and working and intact? And that's the tip. Oh, and one more thing. Different companies make different microchips. So if you scan a pet with one type of scanner and the pet has a different type of chip in him, it will not read. There is a universal scanner, but not everybody has that. So you may have to have that pet scanned a few times. Let's say if you pick up a stray or a found dog or cat, they may have to be scanned by a couple of different scanners to make sure that they don't have a microchip. Okay, so that is my tip. So go forth, discover your microchips, make sure that they work, make sure your information is in there, because it literally can be the thing that brings your pet home.